Boardroom for our meeting. We'll convene the meeting at this time with attendance, please.
Here.
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 Here, we do have a quorum. If you'd now kindly rise for the pledge. Thank you. Are there any agenda deletions or corrections? Nothing?
I think we need to remove the,
Oh, sorry.
You want to table one?
table the, where'd it go?
Item number 7, consider expansion of the intensive residential services home, authorizing Elevate CCBHC to utilize the 5th bedroom in Indianola intensive residential service home with possible action. If we could table that to give our legal team a little bit more time. Thank you for the reminder.
Board okay with that?
Yes.
All right. Anything further? All right, seeing none, the first item on the agenda is the consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda will be enacted by one motion. Meeting minutes to approve, December 2, 2025 board meeting, December 2, 2025 work session, December 9, 2025 special meeting closed, and December 9, 2025 work session. B, approve payroll removal. Aubrey Snuggs, Detention Officer, Sheriff's Office, effective 12/15/2025. C, approve payroll removal. Lindsay Bowman, Zoning Director, effective December 31st, 2025. D, approve department transfer. Teresa Visser, Administrative Assistant, Health Services, effective 12/22/2025. E, approve 6-month increase. Abigail Sleeth, Motor Vehicle Specialist, Treasurer's Office, effective 12/8/2025. F, approve wage increase. Stacy Harris Molina, CVSO, Veterans Affairs, effective January 1st, 2026. G, approve updated 2026 Warren County Wellness Points List. H, approve Zoning Director and Zoning Administrator job descriptions. I, approve job reclassification. Becky Schultz, Zoning Director, effective 12/16/2025. Congratulations, Becky. J, approve Class C retail alcohol license renewal for County Line Tap at 10894 County Line Road, Des Moines, Iowa. K, approve Iowa Code Chapter 445.62, approve abatement, pursuant to Iowa Code Chapter 445.62, approve abatement of taxes on mobile home, VIN number 1321M, in the amount of $77 plus all accrued interest. L, approve pursuant to Iowa Code Chapter 427.1, approve abatement of all property taxes plus all accrued interest on the following parcels. First parcel is 4923601100, City of Indianola, $32. The second parcel is 490380810, City of Indianola, $36. Third one is 49038084000, City of Indianola, $7. Next one is 48607051000, City of Indianola, $6. 49712021000, City of Indianola, $22. And the final one is 49038083000, City of Indianola, $3. Do we have a motion on the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as read.
Second.
Any board discussion? Roll call, please.
Aye.
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 Aye. The motion carries. Number 2 is third reading hearing to repeal and replace chapters 41, 40, 42, 43, and 46 of the Warren County zoning ordinances. At this time, I'll make a motion to go into public hearing.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Aye.
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 Aye. We are in public hearing. Good evening, Becky.
Good evening. Tonight is the third and final hearing reading to repeal and replace chapters 40, 41, 42, and 43 of the Warren County zoning ordinance and chapter 46 of the Warren County subdivision ordinance. The zoning commission met on November 10th, 2025 and voted 5-0 to recommend approval to the Board of Supervisors to repeal and replace chapters 40, 41, 42, 43, and 46 of the zoning ordinance and subdivision ordinance. The Board of Supervisors met on November 18th and December 2nd, 2025, and voted 5-0 to approve to repeal and replace the chapters. Our consultants, MSA, are here to give their presentation of the final version of the zoning and subdivision ordinance. Here to present tonight are Chris Jansen, Sarah Constable Runkle, and Jenna Gillum.
Good evening.
All right, while that's loading, I just added a new slide in. My name is Jenna Gillum. Like you mentioned, I'm with MSA. I'm an assistant planner here who's been working on the zoning and subdivision ordinances. And we're just gonna go through a quick run through for those who may have not been to our other meetings. I know that it's pretty repetitive. We go through the timeline and process, but
I think it's very helpful.
okay, thank you. Don't think it saved my last edit, so it's buffering. Yeah, I don't want to close. Because you just added a couple slides? Yes, about buffering. Great.
Can you walk through?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I had a specific PowerPoint for this reading. I was just making 2 more slides about buffering per Travis's comment. I can pull up a PowerPoint PDF of the last board meeting and go through the overview. We go to folders.
This one?
Yeah, yep, there it is. Otherwise, it's just in our project folder for this. Is it in documents? Yeah, and then 1210.
Oh, that's for
Then
technical difficulties.
Third reading, yeah, 456. It just won't have my new information, but that's fine. We can use.
It's okay. If it'll open, it'll be better.
Of course. Switch it up. Thank you. Does it say it's like open with someone else? Okay. Thank you.
Sometimes it takes a minute to bounce from here to our VPN, but if you want to go ahead and start just walking through the timeline if you have.
If I can remember. Okay. So prior to this 2025 ordinance update, there were some revisions back in 2023 with MSA and the Planning Commission and supervisors, as well as the zoning office staff. There it was that we proposed some new zoning district bulk regulations, specifically the minimum lot area for 10 acres in the ag district. There were a few other things with the rural residential zoning districts that had some points of concern that in turn led us to doing more updates in 2025, as well as new emerging topics like, I don't know, accessory dwelling units, data centers, things of that nature that need to be addressed in a zoning ordinance. So at the beginning of this year, we split up into two zoning ordinance committees with members from the zoning commission, board of supervisors, board of adjustment, and you all, who worked to go through specific chapters. So I know we went through like agritourism, renewable energy a little bit, a number of things that eventually led us into doing several workshops where both the commission and you all came together, and we did a lot of fine-tuning of the zoning districts descriptions and bulk regulations, which led us to the main thing, which is the rural residential zoning districts. We combined them. We changed the minimum lot size in ag to be 2 acre minimum for non-farm single-family dwellings on a bigger parcel with a parent tract that's around 38 nominal acres. And then we introduced some provisions for whether people want to do lot line adjustments, which wasn't in code before, as well as lot combinations and lot splits, which are done administratively, which allows a lot more to be done with zoning staff rather than going through a more strenuous process. And then our supplemental standards, which goes through all these uses and whether or not they need to have a severe weather plan, we discussed over the past several weeks. That chapter was once 4 pages and it's now 104 to make sure that all of the sensitive and I guess emerging new things that are going to happen in the near future are addressed in the ordinance and are regulated properly with best practice. One other thing recently is we introduced some lighting standards and refined the sign regulations because there's been at the planning national level a bunch of sign code revisions due to court cases. So making sure it's compliant with national and state sign regulations, as well as the buffering, which we looked to a bunch of comparable counties and made sure it wasn't vague, but it was still flexible enough that the applicant, if they had a development, could propose some sort of buffering, whether that's trees, which we require in code, is through a heavy or a light buffer, dependent on the linear frontage on whether it's, the front or the side or the rear, depending on the adjacent use. Yeah, I can't recall what else major happened at the last meeting, but I think this is just us fine-tuning a few last details that Travis mentioned to me about the buffering. One thing is, how every single zoning district has the table where it shows the minimum lot size, setbacks, and parking. We were considering adding in something at the bottom where, on the left column, it will say buffering, and then on the right side, it will say see section 40.24. That is one thing we were discussing. And then there seems to be, so in the existing code, certain uses, for example, gas stations, required a 10-foot buffer in between abutting residential uses. And now we have since upped it because it's a commercial use abutting a residential. It would have that heavy 50-foot buffer. So obviously that supersedes this prior thing that got carried over that hadn't been erased, but that was the other minor revision for today. Sorry about this. Of course, this doesn't want to work right when we have to present.
It's been working on great all day though, hasn't it?
Yes, it has.
Yep.
I've been working all day. It's the second I have to do something important. I guess some other thing to note is now that there's a bunch of new processes that are formalized, such as, we introduced the lot split, lot tie, lot line adjustment, simple division, simple ag division. We've been working with staff and their new intern here soon about coming up with some new updated application forms. So once the ordinance is effective, all of those forms will be, able to be provided. And then there is also in the works, we're doing some research on some fee schedules, so how much every application costs, looking at comparable counties, labor, how many hours it takes to review certain projects versus, if it's for something like a huge planned unit development or planned complex development, that will take more time than rezoning for a certain use, but that's what we're doing in this kind of lapse period where prior to codification, that will be done.
Where did we end up with the emergency plans for event centers and stuff like that?
For event centers specifically, we changed it to that they just provide a plan, and a plan doesn't mean like, a document, it just means, I don't know what other way to say, where they just can state exactly what they plan to do in event and if an emergency. But that is reviewed and approved by the emergency management, and just wanted to know the county is not liable for
Perfect.
anything that happens at those things, no matter if they sign off and say, we read it and gave it our okay. It's up to the person putting on those things. And it does not say something about shelter for max number of attendees. We remove that from event centers and temporary large assemblies.
Okay, perfect.
Does that fall under the fire code, the state fire code? Like number of attendees? Okay. Is that why we took it out of ours? Okay.
We put in all of the Chapter 42 supplemental standards look to Iowa building and fire codes.
Okay.
Both of those are mentioned for, I believe, all the uses where the public would go to those facilities.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry about this again. I'm not sure. We can send the PowerPoint afterward, but
Yeah, I'm gonna guess that it's some sort of server issue.
if it's not working on two of our laptops.
Yeah.
What chapter is it? You just pull it up on a PDF or? No PowerPoint. So.
Or I can use Sarah's since we're on Sarah.
She's still got.
So we're in chapter 40. Oh, the summary?
The summary might be effective and then take questions, I suppose.
Yeah. We just have the new buffering zones in like a PDF out of the.
Did put a request in for a new laptop, so.
I did. Actually, IT got back to me today and said they would get me one, so. Merry Christmas.
Exclamation point.
Not for us.
I guess I would recommend hitting the highlights from a summary, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Are there any specific questions from you all today?
Well, we were gonna let the public,
Thank you. Oh, okay, there we are.
okay, good. Looks good.
Okay, timeline. These are our categories for the ordinance committees. We had 11 zoning districts. We're now at 9, which is, like I mentioned, a lot of other counties use similar format. They don't have, multiple commercial with the commercial ag. It's combined with the ag and rural residential. Given that we changed some bulk regulations, those two got combined. We made sure everything was visually user-friendly, and you could see exactly what the procedures are for each process. This is in chapters 43 and 46. Summarizing some recaps from the 18th first reading, we talked about the severe weather plans and making sure the shelter space didn't accommodate the max number of attendees when it was not feasible for things like agritourism event centers. The event centers themselves, given they're like a physical building, not an outdoor activity, they would have to have the max number of attendees sheltered in place. And since our last meeting, we talked about the difference between developable and buildable and clarifying that in code, as well as the subdivision applications and this new buffering language, which I'm going to switch over to the PDF. So in chapter 40, where we have the general standards and definitions, it's now a new buffering standard right after lighting and before we go into loading and parking. And sorry, scrolling really fast. It's on page 36 of chapter 40, where we essentially just talk about how it's necessary between compatible a compatible separation between differing land uses, and clarifying that for the light buffer, it is 30-foot wide with 1 tree per 30 linear feet of buffer length, and for heavy buffer, it's 50 feet of buffer length but for the heavy, it's 2 trees per 30 linear feet. And there might be some uses where this needs to be bulked up a little more, and that can just be flexible at the meetings where the applicant comes forward with their ideas, and we can establish more. And then this table is what we talked about last time too, so it's easy to see. If you're proposing a use on the left, you look to the right, the columns, to see whether or not heavy, none, or light buffer would be required. And if a heavy buffer is required for certain uses, it might be specified in chapter 42. So in chapter 42 with the supplemental standards, we say you should have buffering on all property lines. And those are only for specific things. But again, that's outlined in chapter 42. And then what Travis just mentioned before this is we could add like a column on the far end about buffering required, which it would be under every zoning district. Kind of like right here where we say off-street parking and loading as required by section blah, blah, blah. This could say buffering as required by section 40.24.
Okay, all right. That's good.
Okay, any other updates to address from the last time? Or is that, want to open it up to questions? All right. We are in an open public meeting. Is there anyone online or in the room that would like to present some questions to MSA? Anyone online, Michaela? Anyone in the room? Just make a quick comment. I wanted to say thank you for the work, and thanks for helping with our zoning department on some forms too. I think that'll be helpful. So, and anything that can be user-friendly so that people can understand it, I think that's a good direction to go.
I really
Becky, is
wanna-
that, the forms that she's talking about, will those be available online to be fillable online and be submittable online? Yes. Nice. Great. I love that.
I want to thank you, MSA. I know last year we kind of had a falling out, and you came back and you batted 1,000. You included everyone. I think there was a lot of good participation. You took the opinions and our perspectives and you put them in writing. So thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay, last call. At this point, I'll make a motion to end our public hearing.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Public hearing is done. Time for board discussion on our third reading hearing to repeal and replace chapters 40, 41, 42, 43, and 46.
I think we've gone through and tried to clean up a lot of the stuff. Working with MSA, there's a lot of stuff to go over, and it takes more than just a set of eyes to go through everything. I too want to thank MSA. They've been very responsive in the requests that we've made. Just sitting before the meeting, chatting with Jenna, she's making changes as she's on the fly, which probably caused the catastrophe that just was. So I appreciate you. Sorry that was hectic, but I haven't heard any kickback on this to the point that would make me want to change anything else. There's been a couple comments that are pretty easily ironed out after a full explanation and reading through here. So I'm pretty much in favor of the third reading, final reading.
Okay, anyone else?
I would agree with that. Make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
It's already closed.
Did we close it already?
Yep.
I did.
Oh, well, I'll make a motion to approve the resolution
There you
as
go.
written. How about that? I bet Crystal's going to second that.
Yeah, I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further board discussion on it? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 3 on our agenda tonight.
Oh, wait a second. I want to thank Dawn as well. She put in a lot of hard work to us. So Dawn Bowen is our assistant county attorney who is retiring.
How many days left, Dawn?
No countdown.
All right.
Sorry about
Yeah, you're good. Number 3, claims. Claims, we have a claims figure of $735,340.52. Do we have a motion on the claims?
Make a motion to approve the claims.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, claims are approved. Thank you. Motion carries. Number 4 is consider approval of the county attorney and treasurer's office requests for the following staffing needs with possible action. The first one was hire a driver's license specialist. I'll make a motion to approve the hiring of the driver's license specialist in the treasurer's office.
Second?
Motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And the second one, we have our county attorney in the room, if you'd like to come up and speak regarding hire an assistant director of victim services and update a legal assistant from part-time to full-time. Good evening, Doug.
Good evening. I appreciate the opportunity to come back and appreciate the conversation that we had last week about this at the work session. I am asking to hire another assistant director of victim services person. So that would be 3 victim services people in our office. Also to take our legal assistant from part-time to full-time. The legal assistant position can be paid for out of the budget as it stands. The assistant director would need to be backfilled into the budget, most likely. As we talked about last week, law enforcement, myself included, have struggled with how to deal with juveniles for years. And I came back in the office in 2011, so we've been wrestling with this since that time. And I think all of law enforcement working together with our office has finally come up with a good solution. It's detailed in the handout that we talked about last week and that I just handed out. I see them making a lot of progress. I see law enforcement finally understanding what we can do with children that they're coming into contact with. And I think a lot of times before we really got into this, we were just kind of at a loss, and they were at a loss and not dealing with them. Now they see hope, I think, and I see hope in what they're trying to do with them. I think they're working well together. And that's why I know our initial plan in the office was to not ask for this position now, but to come back at budget time. But I see the tremendous work that they're doing now, and I don't want to lose momentum that we've got, and that's why I'm asking for these 2 positions now.
Understood. Would you, since you're up, would you speak to the public just a little bit about the intervention program, like what's different?
Yeah.
Maybe from where we have been to what's coming?
So juvenile court service, which is where a majority of kids used to go, they have their own diversion program. And what diversion to the judicial branch really means is that if a child on a low-level offense gets in trouble, that juvenile court service will read it, screen it, and then most likely send them a letter to the parents, which is called a warn and inform letter. And really what that amounts to is, please don't let your child do this again. And that's not effective, in my opinion, and in law enforcement's opinion. So as we talked about 18 months ago, we went to Houston to attend a National District Attorneys Conference on juvenile justice down there. I took the chiefs, I took the school resource officers, and I took 2 others out of my office with me to go to that. We spent probably 3 days in Houston learning what Houston does. They kind of are at the top of the ladder on what they do to try to intervene in juveniles' lives and make it better. So we brought all those things back home, continued to look at it, and decided that sometimes diversion has a bad connotation. Diversion sometimes, I think, is interpreted as somebody got in trouble, we're going to try to turn them here. We might get involved and say you need to do some community service, you need to do class, those types of things. We tell them don't do this again. And there is a place for that, and I'm not here to discard what the judicial branch does, but I think we can do better. And I think our juvenile intervention program does a lot better than that, because where diversion says, don't do this again, what we really do is we try to intervene. And that's why I specifically use that word as opposed to Warren County diversion program. I wanted something different. So we went and bought a screening tool. So all the children that come through our program or into our office, because now what law enforcement is doing is sending all the juvenile cases to our office. And this is where we're getting bogged down and where we need the people, is so they come into the office, our office screens them. Our team meets every week. They look at them and determine who's a good fit for the program, who's not. If they're not, it's referred back to law enforcement, who then sends them to juvenile court. Okay? If they are a good fit, we invite them in. The screening tool, they meet with Sunday Smith, our Director of Victim Services, or Kyla Ruppiger, who's our Assistant Director, and they put them through a screening tool. And when I say a screening tool, this is a 1 to 2 hour meeting with the children, trying to get to the root causes of what the problems are in their life. And that's what makes it really different, because sometimes you can try to send them in a new direction by a diversion, but they still got to go back to the environment that may have been a contributing factor in getting them in trouble. Not all the time, but sometimes. So the screening tool looks behind the curtain as to what the problems are. Is there housing insecurity? Is there food insecurity? Are they a victim of bullying? Is there something else going on behind the scenes? Let's try to figure that out. And once we figure those things out, then we can more target what do we need. And not just what the child needs, but does the family need assistance? And this is where we've partnered with people in the community, like We Lift. And Sue Wilson is a great partner in the program. And we can send the families to them. So, and the children too, if they're older, to start looking at, do you need a trade? Do you need help getting a job? Do you need help with housing? Do you need help with food insecurity? All those kind of things. And she's a great resource, and she can find those people that can meet their needs and get them. And so we're not just looking at the kids, now we're looking at the family, and that's a bigger deal. And that is, I think, the most tremendous part of what we're trying to do. So I appreciate the opportunity to do this. Again, I appreciate my partners in law enforcement getting involved with me. Their letters of recommendation are in the packet, and they've been great to work with, and I think we're on the right path here.
Thank you so much.
Any questions or anything?
No, I commend you. This is remarkable. My own feeling is that the family is the foundation of society, and you're addressing that head on. So
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing this to Warren County.
All right, thank you.
Great, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the juvenile intervention program. I don't have my agenda up here. Let's read it as it's written on here. Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve the hiring of an assistant director of victim services, as well as taking a legal assistant from part-time to full-time in the county attorney's office.
Second?
Motion and a second. Is there any board discussion?
I would just like to add, just for the benefit of the public, because they weren't here at the work session, we had the chief of police from Carlisle, Norwalk, and Indianola at a work session last week. They all spoke highly of the program and were encouraged where the program was going. So I think it makes a lot of sense to pursue it, because the results have been good, and all of our law enforcement are behind it and encouraged by it. So.
Thank you, Brian. All right, motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Number 5 is consider third amended and restated agreement for the Des Moines Metropolitan Wastewater Reclamation Authority with possible action. Good evening, Dawn.
Good evening. Warren County has been asked to become an associate community member under the third amended and restated 28E and 28F agreement of the Des Moines Metropolitan Wastewater Reclamation Authority. The county's been involved with this organization for several years, but they have restructured to comply with the Iowa Code. The county's participation carries minimal financial liability while positioning the county within the regional wastewater governance structure. Warren County will not be responsible for WRA operations, capital contributions, or debt. The county has no liability for WRA bonds or financing obligations. The county's influence is limited. Associate communities do not vote on major WRA actions. The county must cooperate with the WRA when requested for easements and coordination. And the status reserves the option for future wastewater service expansion if needed. The major area served that's within the county and in the WRA area is Greenfield Plaza. So that's why the county needs to be involved. Warren County's associate community status offers flexibility and shields taxpayers from major infrastructure costs. Continued monitoring of regional wastewater planning is recommended to ensure alignment with future county growth and development needs. My recommendation is that you join as an associate community.
Member, got it. All right. Any questions? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to consider or approve the consideration third amended and restated agreement for the Des Moines Metropolitan Wastewater Reclamation Authority.
Second.
Any board discussion? Roll call, please.
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Don.
Thank you.
Number 6 is consider vehicle title transfer request of a 2020 Ford F-150 from the Warren County Sheriff's Office to the Maintenance Department with possible action.
I'll make a motion to approve the vehicle title transfer request of the 2020 Ford F-150 from the Warren County Sheriff's Office to the Maintenance Department.
Second.
Is there any discussion? I will just state that I'm pleased to see our departments working together and sharing items where and when possible, because while at budget time we all have our separate budgets, at the end of the day, it's still taxpayer dollars, and if you can be prudent and responsible with those, that's a good thing. So we have a motion, we have a second. Roll call, please.
Aye.
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 Aye, the motion carries. Approved and adopted. Number 7 was tabled. Number 8 is consider Warren County Secondary Roads 2026 fuel quotes with possible action. Good evening.
Good evening. This is our annual fuel quotes that we send out. This is the first year that it only is for Warren County. In the past, it's been for the fuel station in town. And I did notice the resolution we provided. We'll have to send you an updated one tomorrow because it still says Indianola locations and not the new site. The quotes that were sent out have the right site, so I'm not worried about the prices. The vendors basically just quote a margin on a price per gallon, and the margin went up 1 penny in each category, which is pretty minimal and kind of expected since it's further away from James Oil in this case. So we recommend approval if you have any questions.
Do you have last year's number for comparison purposes?
So, like I said, last year for the gas, and you got to look at the vendor margin, the rest of it, the gallons is an estimated usage with removing the city of Indianola and the school district out of it. So the total number is $131,000 less, but that's also because the gallons were less. And the rack price of the fuel is less this year. So the vendor margin for gasohol last year was 0.025 in the negative. This year it's 0.015 in the negative, so 1 cent. They take a margin loss on gas and number 1 diesel to our site. The premium diesel is the same, 0.00. Number 2 diesel last year was 11 cents per gallon. This year it's 12 cents per gallon, so 1 cent increase. Number 1 diesel, that was number 2 diesel. The outlying locations, this number 1 diesel was 3 cents in the negative. This year it's 2 cents in the negative. And number one diesel for outlying locations last year was 11 cents, and this year it's 12 cents. So it was, other than number two diesel to the Nevada site, everything was 1 cent higher.
Got it. Thank you.
Minimal.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right.
Motion?
I'll make
Yep.
a motion to approve the secondary roads 2026 fuel quotes.
Second?
Any discussion from the board? Roll call, please.
Aye.
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 Aye, the motion carries. Number 9 is consider approval to pay for the following projects from Fund 0008 with possible action. There's 2 of them. They were discussed in the work session. That is the administration building tuck pointing and camera installation at County Yard and Conservation.
And this was money that had been set aside to remodel this building, and it's part of the ARPA funds. So it's not tax dollars per se. I mean, they are, but not collected yet.
I'll make a motion to approve both those projects as described in the work session and on our agenda. And I will point out that doing the tuck pointing on this building, it is important. It's not an insignificant number, but it's important, and it doesn't become less expensive the more that you don't take care of your stuff. So, I think the county's historically learned that lesson. So, I'll make the
Yes, we
motion.
have. Second?
Any discussion from the board? Roll call, please.
Aye.
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 Aye, the motion carries. Number 10 is consider Warren County signage policy with possible action. Any changes come from the work session?
Oh, great. Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Wait, I have a question. Were there limits to the size at all, or? No? Okay. Oh, okay, sorry. That makes a very good size.
No signs, no.
Yeah, no signs. All right, sorry, Stephanie.
Oh, no, you're fine. I'll make a motion to approve the Warren County signage policy.
Second.
Any discussion from the board? Roll call, please.
Aye.
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 Nay, it carries. Number 11, receive and file reports. We've got A, general assistance, B, humane society. We've got 2 reports to receive and file. Humane Society and the Recorder. At this point, I'll make a motion to receive and file the Humane Society and Recorder report.
Second.
A motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Aye.
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 Aye, the motion carries. Number 12 is Supervisors report. Would any of my colleagues like to share?
Yes, I want to talk about VA. Near and dear to my heart. Okay, so in the work session, we talked about, Don looked up in Iowa code that in 2024, Iowa had taken out any reference to the VA or the county taking care of the graves of veterans, which is at $2.50 historically. So last year, or this past year for this budget, I had asked the board if they would increase the budget. Our numbers for the grave sites in Warren County for our veterans were based on 2011 numbers. So I asked if we could increase it by 8,000. I wasn't sure how many more veterans that there were that we had not accounted for. And essentially, at budget time, our budget director would send out money to the various townships and those responsible for the cemeteries, and we would never receive any word back. Of course, a canceled check, but we're not sure what they were spending the money on. So what we instilled was a raise in funds, but also if you wanted the funds, you had to contact the VA office. And along with that, you have to verify that you have these veterans buried in your cemeteries. Well, they actually went over the 8,000 because people have found their veterans, and we have more being buried. So it's a great thing. Our townships do not have a lot of ways to raise their revenue. So for counties that no longer provide this service for their veterans or to their townships, I'm afraid that they've cut off some very valuable funding for them. So anyhow, this year, it's not in code, but with the VA commission, we're gonna come and ask for an increase in that budget as well. We have 2 part-time, but together they make 1 full-time employee in the office. And then we have a full-time director. And those 3 or 2.5 people, 2 people, I guess, put together, I think last year we were behind Dallas County by 40,000, and this year we are ahead of Dallas County by 71,000. This is making funds available to our veterans here in Warren County through their benefits. And right now we are 9th in the state of Iowa, and we are behind Woodbury County, which we're behind them about 280,000, but we're closing. Okay, and then my last shout out here. In Iowa Code, we're required to provide funeral services for veterans regardless. However, the funerals are they are capped at payment of $1,900. What I want to call out that our VA director made me aware of tonight was most of these funeral homes in Warren County meet that $1,900 at cost and are possibly writing off the rest. A huge thank you to all of our Warren County funeral homes and directors who make this possible for their families. And that's my report.
Thank you. Thank you, Crystal. Anyone else?
No.
All right, well, this will be our final main board meeting of the season, so we are looking forward to getting back at it in January. I think we've got a January 2 organizational meeting that will iron out some stuff, but with that, I wish everyone a very happy holidays and a prosperous new year. Public input. Is there anyone from the public, either here or online, who would like to speak? Please state your name, your address, and nothing about today's agenda.
Marilyn Holderman, 19057 Drake Street, Carlisle. Just to clarify, Palmyra has received veterans money every year. Every year that is designated to go to stone repair. For each veterans, it's over $100 for those small stones. They give us a break of 100. We have changed people now. I don't know how this is going to work, but all veterans money that has come from this county has gone into the cemetery fund and designated for stone repair. So I just wanted to clarify and let maybe some of you know how we do ours.
Great.
Thank you.
Marilyn.
Is there anyone else in the room or online? Okay, moving on then, we'll set our next meeting. That will be January 6, 2026, back here in the Indianola Boardroom. With that, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Aye.
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 Aye, we're adjourned. Have a great one.
Thank you. I like your hair, Kathy K. from Milo.